It is time for us to have the Chiefs funeral, I think. It's time for us to say goodbye to the dynasty as we currently know it, because I think they're not going to make the playoffs, clearly, and they're going to have some soul searching to do this summer, reinvigorating this team, giving them a new identity and a new second win to the Mahomes era. And we're going to start with this harsh reality from Chase. He says, the Chiefs need to accept that Andy Reid may have to be fired. I don't know who they replace him with. Please, for the love of God, not Nagy. But his play calling is high-key terrible, and the way he uses players is not the best anymore. This is a real conversation. Early before the season started, there was a lot of woke Chiefs fans on Twitter talking about this, talking about the roster not being in a good position to maximize Patrick Mahomes, talking about the fact that Andy Reid kind of has become a Mahomes merchant at this point, and a lot of the credit probably should go to Mahomes. People didn't want to listen to them. People want to say you're doing too much. You have one of the best coaches of all time, and you're not grateful. Time is telling that maybe they were right.
This is correct. Well, I was saying I don't think Reid needs to be fired.
Yeah,
I think it could be fired though. I think it's a conversation that he doesn't have to be. I won't go that far, but I do think there's reason to say that maybe fired isn't the right decision. He certainly needs to do some soul searching and be forced to reinvigorate his entire style and go through a late career genesis to have a new modern approach.
Yeah, they definitely need they need somebody else to go in there and to kind of jumpstart everything, but also personnel wise, they have been bleeding talent for years, and they haven't replaced anybody in terms of having like a young star that can come in and replace everybody. It's wild. He can still do it, and he can still turn it on. It is crazy that Chris Jones is the lone
your entire pass rush.
Is everything on their D line, that he is their one playmaker, that if you are going to get a stop on third down, is Chris Jones going to do this or not?
So all the Chiefs need is revamped offensive coaching staff, 2 new running backs,
easy to
a
find,
wide receiver who can beat man coverage, a starting tight end, 3 to 5 new defensive linemen, a linebacker, figure out who to keep at cornerback due to impending free agents, figure out who to keep at safety due to impending free agents. Oh, that's nothing.
So just a whole new team. Okay.
They need so much.
That's easy.
Two new running backs. We can find that in the 6th and the 7th round.
Okay.
Figure out who to keep at cornerback and figure out who to keep at safety. That's fine. We don't have to spend draft picks on that. That's all mental. So now we have 3 things off of that. A wide receiver who could beat man coverage. Send Rashee Rice to sleepaway camp, and we can figure that out. Starting tight end, that's what the 5th round pick is for. A revamped offensive coaching staff. You sit Andy Reid down and you say, hey, listen, you have a very heart-to-heart. So now we are a conversation, a mental exercise, 3 draft picks away, and now we can start finding a new 3 to 5 new D linemen and a linebacker. That is what the first 4 rounds and free agency is for. I see the path to the Chiefs keep being their dynasty.
And that's why, that's what I want to talk about, is this team is fundamentally broken. And I think there's a lot of people that want to just do the typical WWE-ification of the NFL and be like, Mahomes isn't that guy anymore. The star can't do it, or whatever other surface level decision for why they suck, right? Their roster has atrophied. Brett Veach has not done a good job building this roster, and that much is clear. Whether or not we decide Andy Reid needs to be fired or needs to be forced to get a new coordinator or whatever we do with the coaching staff, the GM has done a god-awful job, and I think probably needs to be replaced. I would not, if I'm ownership, and I know there's some awkward dynamics here with Veach and Andy Reid kind of being like this, that's kind of why he's in that job, I would want a new GM. I wouldn't trust him to lead this charge of reinvigorating this roster that clearly needs a top-down approach to be completely different. And I don't know, there's a good case for the offensive approach that you really can't separate those two, like I said. Andy Reid wants this style of receiver that is these gimmicky speed guys that are small and agile in open space, because Andy Reid believes he can scheme them open and they can make plays after the catch. Now we have that failing because the scheme isn't quite as inventive as it once was. And now these guys are getting pressed into the sidelines every play because you keep drafting these 5'10" receivers that can't separate at all. I kind of do buy that. That points back to Andy Reid in some way.
Okay, maybe. But also, if they go out and if the Chiefs go out and they draft a wide receiver who has more of a traditional build.
Are we assuming they're not making the playoffs, by the way, with this 10% chance? Are we just seeing that they're not making it?
For me personally, I think
I still think they can.
And you're holding on to hope real hard.
Yeah.
The hope, honestly, is because of what I saw last night and what I've seen from the Chargers post Joe Alt, which is they can't keep winning with this offensive line like that, right? Like
they're 9-4. They only need to win like 1 or 2 more games. If they beat the Chiefs, it's over.
Yes. If they beat the Chiefs, it's done. However, if the Chiefs win next week against the Chargers, then that goes up. And then the Chargers' final schedule, like they have a game against the Texans, I believe. I'll pull it up. But the Chargers, like they don't have the easiest schedule.
No, they have a hard schedule. They play the Chiefs, they play the Texans, and they play the Broncos, I think.
It's Chiefs on the road against the Chiefs next week. Week after that, on the road against Dallas. Week after that, versus Houston, and the season on the road in Denver. So maybe, and like Denver will have things locked up, but depending on what like New England does, if New England has the 1 seed locked up, we'll see what happens. But I'm assuming everybody's going to play in that Week 18 game. That's potentially, like, if they go 1-3 over the next 4 games, it wouldn't be shocking to me if that happened.
Yeah.
And so
they also need the Colts to fall off.
That will happen.
With no Daniel Jones, that's fair.
That will happen. And they actually don't, because the Colts are the one team that the Chiefs have a tiebreaker over.
Okay.
And so
either way, they're a few games behind, so they need them to lose some games pretty quickly.
They will. I promise you they will. But yeah, so I understand it's a very, very low percentage. 1-3 for the Chargers against a Texans defense like that, against a Cowboys offense like that. It wouldn't be shocking to me if that happened.
Well, I'm assuming the Chiefs don't come back.
Okay.
And they won't make the playoffs. Then if we're setting that groundwork that it's kind of over for this version of the team, and I'm sure the title of this clip I'm going to post is the Chiefs dynasty is dead as we know it. I think that's true. But I also think the Chiefs could be very good next year.
Yes. So it's not dead then.
Both are true. No, it's dead because it's going to have to be a new type.
I mean,
of
this
team.
current form of it. Okay.
100%.
Gotcha.
It has to be a new type of team. Also, before we get to look at this clip. Hilarious. The Chiefs went from doing shit like this last year to missing the playoffs. Remember when they did this merry-go-round shit?
Bro, that's insane. That's so wildly different. How much were they up by? They must have been up by $1 million minimum.
We're in a different era of football. They would not dare to do some shit like this today.
Whose idea was this, right?
Probably Andy. And yeah, I think, like I mentioned, the weapon room.
So whimsical.
The only thing going for this team right now offensively is the fact they have a good offensive line that is injured right now, but I think is still good, and it has 4 starters that should be the starters next year, and a 5th that is waiting in the woodworks ready to come out, and a quarterback that obviously is playing as good as he ever has. Well, I'm gonna say that is still playing very good, right? The running back room is terrible. The wide receiver room needs to be completely reimagined. The way Andy Reid deploys his wide receivers needs to be completely reimagined. The way he draws up his run game needs to be reimagined. This consistent success rate, maxing 2 yards a carry on 3rd down, the running game up the middle. We need to have a run game that has a chance to be explosive, whether it be the talent or them drawing it up. And the entire passing game approach needs to be a lot more imaginative and changed up, because this team doesn't have a terrible defense right now. The fact that we're talking about Patrick Mahomes' team missing the playoffs in his prime while their defense is fine, it's insane. The fact that it's all a top-down approach to every level the offense has failed is insane. Like, that is truly ridiculous to happen when you have one of the best quarterbacks to ever live.
It shouldn't happen. It's happened. I mean, it shouldn't happen. It's happened before, I feel like. But also, when you have stuff like this, when you have your entire roster going downhill offensively, it isn't shocking. And
they have the same record as the Dolphins.
Again, very shocking. I understand that. Everybody also shouldn't be shocked, because I also feel like this is what people have been saying. Like, we were kind of saying this last year, where they were playing every single game was a close game. And it's like, they can't keep getting away with this. Well, they're not getting away with this anymore.
Yeah. And that is the truth. That is the reality of it, right? That this team is probably a little bit better than last year in some ways that are measurable. Like, I'm sure their rushing success rate is better than it was last year. The wide receiver room with Rice healthy, at least, even though he's not playing good, is probably a little more talented than last year. But they went from undefeated in 1-score games to winless in 1-score games, it feels like.
Yeah.
Everything flipped the other way. We gave them benefit of the doubt because they made the goddamn Super Bowl with that terrible Chiefs team. It gave us blind hope that they can just do it again, that Mahomes and Reid will never fail. So you are right. This is the same thing. But that, to me, further proves that we need to change up some things. That last year we got the best case scenario that masked things. And that tells me now we are 2 years in to Patrick Mahomes completely masking the entire roster atrophy of this unit. And everyone points to Mahomes hasn't been as productive once Tyreek Hill left, once Travis Kelce wasn't the GOAT anymore, and all this stuff as a way to say Mahomes is a fraud. No, it's to let you know that that's what's possible when he has a good team around him, and not that he has dog shit around him and he's keeping this team to be more successful than not, continuing to be successful in the playoffs, despite the fact those guys aren't gone. Now we're just seeing what it looks like when he's actually, behaving like a normal quarterback does, not carrying everybody to the highest degree.
I think a part of what helps keeps dynasties alive and constantly ongoing, flowing, and reaching new levels is seeing, going back to what you said, like scheme, new philosophies, and just new things a part of your game that you necessarily haven't seen before.
Yes.
And so far, I guess throughout the last 7 years or so, when I was like a super casual NFL fan, just like watching here and there, catching games whenever I can, I still to this day, 7 years later, 6 years later, or whatever it is, don't know what is wildly different or what's like new factors or at least like play wise for this team. And it's the same thing. And I feel like at this point in time, going back to what you guys said, of course, naturally with the talent bleeding as you stack up more wins and more championships and all that, you're going to get poached naturally, of course. But to see how they're steadfast on specific types of receivers, it's just, you're right. The talk is literally clicking. They embody that meme.
The game has left them before they left the game. And I think people are making this comparison that it's ending up a lot like how it ended up with the Eagles for Andy Reid, and that it went out sad with the things that made him such a good coordinator early in his tenure there kind of fizzle out as the rosters get worse. Difference is now you have Mahomes, who has kept the team afloat a little bit longer than they did with the Eagles. We had this tweet. Mahomes has accounted for 76% of KC's yardage this season, highest rate by any QB on any team. Just go win. That's exactly how it feels. And yeah, what you just described is right, that they haven't changed it up in the same way the rest of the league has, and that's what the best do. Sean McVay is now running 13 personnel at the highest rate in the NFL, and they have the best offensive had since they won the Super Bowl because of it. Changing up your game as the NFL advances is the name of the game. It's how you stay at the top.
I want to see them get some new X receiver, but some big body dude.
I want to see that as long as every other roster decision I talked about. A new offensive coordinator that is a young, fresh mind that Andy Reid will cede responsibility to and let him reinvent this offense is needed.
It's needed. Do you think it's realistic?
No. It's not at all. Well, actually, maybe. I can't know what Andy Reid's going to do, right? Who knows? Do I have a track record of believing that he wants to do that or that he feels like he needs to do that? Probably not. He probably still feels like he's the GOAT. And my way has gotten us to 5 straight Super Bowls. One off year isn't going to change that, right? That's probably exactly how he feels. And it's understandable why you feel that way, logically. That is true. You've been nothing but successful once you got Mahomes. One bad year. You shouldn't lose confidence entirely, right? But you should do some reflecting. You should realize the state of the NFL, the nature of sports, that you need to get better to stay on top and see the writing on the wall for 2 straight years. Know that you can't rely on Mahomes to win every single one-score game. It takes some hard decisions looking inward. And I don't know if old men necessarily want to do that, so it's tough, but it's necessary.
Yeah. I'd look at this year, and for the Chiefs, like, man, that Jaguar game hurts right now.
Yeah.
That game was so weird because it felt like it was going to be one of those Chiefs types of games where they are able to just out execute the other team at the end of the game. Trevor Lawrence falls down, gets back up and runs the ball in, and you're just sitting there like, what just happened? And if that, obviously, like, you could do this with a whole bunch, but specifically with the way that like the tiebreakers are set up, that game goes differently. You're 7-6. You also have the tiebreaker over the Jags, and this season feels so much different. But I think everything you're saying about Andy Reid, 100% true. It's also helps you bring up Sean McVay and you bring up an X receiver. It helps when you just have like Puka Nacua and this demon that is so versatile. But then that also goes back to what we've been saying about Brett Veach, which is there are other wide receivers outside of 5'10", 170 who run 4.35 40s, right? Yeah. There are other types of football players, and having a diverse group of wide receivers would help you.
EGE was a failure this season, and that pains me to say because I'm excited for this wide receiver room this year. 100%. It's just not working. A couple weeks ago, we talked about it. I was like, I don't know if Xavier Worthy's good. And like, that kind of makes everything fall apart, right? If this first round pick that's supposed to be the guy that brings you this new speed element you haven't had since Tyreek Hill is not a particularly effective deep threat despite having the fastest 40-yard dash of all time, that's a hard place to start from. Rashee Rice is good, not having a good year right now, not looking as effective as he did at the start of last year or the end of his rookie year. That's tough. I guess understandable. He misses so much time. He is also a unique player that is like a role guy. He is a unique guy that is more of a yards after catch guy rather than a separator himself. The other guys there, Hollywood Brown. It's been a few years since he's been on top of his game. What they really need is probably get the ball back to Tyquan Thornton, which is crazy because he can at least be a deep threat that can separate down the field.
Yeah.
But he's been politicked out of the rotation a lot of the times.
And damn politics,
God.
man.
So it's just tough. Like the vision we had for them when they got Rice back of having this dynamic group that could finally click, like we all hoped for, hasn't worked. There's nothing else to fall back on. There's no other talent because Travis Kelce is what he once was. The running back room is very bad. There's nothing to latch onto to say this could be their out to being really good again.
Mahomes. That's it. That's all you got.
Yep.
That's all you got.
Damn.
So Brett Veach, I'll be shocked if he's still there. Patrick Mahomes was their fastest ball carrier in their win.
He's
What the
been their run game.
18.8.
Yeah,
What?
He's been their run game.
While Brett Veach is getting all these small, fast guys.
Jeez, man. What the fuck?
Run some in rounds.
Apparently, the Chiefs are tied for second in the league in drop passes.
Yeah, so that's another thing. We mentioned
Checks
that
out,
this
yeah.
game, the drops were ridiculous. Like, that's why they lost this game in the end. Mahomes tried to play hero ball. Drops from every single receiver in that room, it felt like.
It was cold.
It was cold.
What do you want me to say? It was cold.
Damn, man.
And when they play football and it was cold, it was cold.
I feel.
This is true. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, the Chiefs clearly aren't dead. They still have Mahomes. They still have the ability to make the roster better like every team does. It's pretty easy to reinvent yourself over one offseason in the NFL, especially when you have Patrick Mahomes, like I said. Does feel like this version of the team is dead, though.
Yeah. New
Especially,
age, new
especially
chapter.
if they miss the playoffs, it's over. It's gonna be a new start. But then I can already see it. That season afterwards. So next season, when they get everything back together, they get back to winning the AFC West, and you have this like Phoenix rising from the ashes type of vibe. It's gonna be crazy.
And that's what they need. It takes sometimes you need
Unless
to
that
get
doesn't happen, they just keep dinking and dunking, and one score game,
and
which
Andy
is,
Reid changes nothing because he's a champion and did my way or the highway.
which is probably
Yeah, no.
what's gonna happen.
Yep. And that will be, I don't even give a fuck because I'm a Chargers fan. So like if they fail, they fail. Would be kind of disappointing to see Patrick Mahomes go out that way because you know he's going to get the brunt of the blame because it's WWE to NFL fans. The only thing that matters is the quarterback, especially when you're supposed to be the GOAT.
Yeah, man. Ask for a trade.
See, a lot of Chiefs fans were like,
I'm playing.
I know it's so dumb. It's not even Chiefs fans are doing it. Other fans were like, is this our time to go ahead and like bundle up, I don't know, 4 first-round picks or whatever it is and just ship it away from Mahomes? I'm like, that would be the most insane thing ever witnessed, right?
Yeah, we're never going to see that happen.
Yeah.
But listen, man.
I need 5. I need 5 first-round picks. Minimum.
Mahomes looks so visibly upset every game on the sideline, and he goes to the podium, puts on his best corporate face, and is talking about, we just got to go out there and win the next game. It's just like real cool about it. At some point, he put his foot down and like say like this isn't good enough, you know? Like, well, I would like to see the emotion he shows in the field. Like, if he's not going to put his foot down and say we need to change, no one else is going to do it.
He's not going to do it. He's not. He's not going to do it.
Yeah, man.
Because you saw 2 years ago in that Monday night game, like he threw the ball not as perfect, but like he threw a catchable ball to MVS and he drops it. And he came out and was like, yeah, man, like, you know, I just got to put it out a little bit further for him. I got to make the throw easier. Like, it's not your fault. MVS is bad. Like, you don't have to do this. And everybody would have been 100% understanding if he was like, yeah, man, I threw a dot and he just dropped it.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't want him to be like, listen, man, fucking Worthy can't break a tackle to save his life. I don't want him to do that, but I want him to be like, be
on some Aaron Rodgers stuff. It's like,
No,
you know,
God.
everybody shows up to film. We have conversations. We get to the field. Those conversations go in one ear and out the other. Nobody.
I've never seen Pacheco watch film, not once. Like,
You can't. He's blind. What do you mean?
Like he's like, if you go to our facility right now, the jugs machines haven't been turned on in 2 weeks. Nobody knows what they're doing.
They have the worst 25th second half offense since week 9 in the NFL. That's crazy. Just straight collapses.